So I wanted to talk a little bit about why I think old things are so important and so vital to our society, especially young people like me today that are in their 20s or 30s. There's a lot of people out there that don't really care. I mean, they like maybe the look of the 1940s or 50s, or they know about flapper girls of the 20s. But do they really care about old things? There's two main reasons why I think old things are so important to us. And I think that the first one I would have to say is that it connects us to a past that we weren't there for, that we missed. For instance, like, we've come so far in our technology. How can you watch TV or be on the computer or be on your phone without knowing what those first TVs, those first colored TVs came out, what they looked like, what they sounded like, how you had to turn the knobs, how you had to adjust the brightness and the contrast of the screen. I mean, that is what people used to have to deal with when they watched TV. It connects us to information about these inventions that we are not privy to knowing about, really, since we were not there. And I think another big thing is, and I think more importantly, old things connect us to the past generation and generations that came before us, not even just the generation that our parents grew up in. Something that is so cool about when I watch an old TV show with my parents is that if there is a product or a TV show or maybe a movie that they're talking about, my parents immediately know what it is that they're talking about, and they have their own stories. For instance, one time little Ricky on I Love Lucy was wearing a cowboy costume, and my dad was talking about how he had a costume that was just like that and still has the gun, and went and showed me the little cap gun that came with it. I think through old things, we can learn so much about our parents, about our grandparents. I mean, just ask them about some of the old things that they used to use, the old dish soaps, the old, TVs, the old vacuum cleaners or whatever. There's a story behind it, and that's what I love about old things. Also, it not only connects us to people that we know, like our parents or our grandparents, but it just connects us to people who lived in the past that we didn't even have any encounters with. For instance, I used to live in an old apartment complex that was built in the 1920s. Now I live in a very modern apartment complex because it's basically a dormitory. When I lived in this old apartment complex, there was so much character to the apartment. There were scratches on the floor, there were little dings in the door frame, and with every scratch and every ding and mark, I remember wondering, who made that mark? Was it someone current? Was it someone in the past? Some of these dings on the door frame, was it from moving furniture into the apartment in the past? You can just place your hand on it and think about someone from the 1920s leaning against that same door frame that you now have your hand on. That is something that you just cannot get with these newer items. But I just really want people in my age range to understand the vital nature of antiques and old culture, because it is fleeting and it is disappearing with every day and every year, and more stories just get lost with each new moment. And I think preserving some of these stories, preserving some of these memories can connect us in ways that we just cannot even fathom. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you love old things and new things and all things, but especially old things. That's sort of what this YouTube channel is about. Soda Pop Chronicles is the name that I gave it because of Coca-Cola is this sort of traditional American icon that's been there for generations. I hope that you will like and subscribe and comment to this video. If you would like to share some old facts that you know, or want to tell me a story about an antique item that you own, or you just have old stories to share in general, you can post them down below in the comments section. I read all of the comments, so if you could do that, that would be wonderful. Thanks again, and like and subscribe so you can get more old things.